istočnoj oblasti Kefalonije, ostrvu u Jonskom moru, nedaleko od sela Markopulo, nalazi se mala crkva posvećena Uspeniju Presvete Bogorodice. Ovdje već tokom mnogo godina se jednom godišnje na praznik Uspenija Presvete Bogorodice dešava nešto neobično. Od preobraženja se unutar i van crkve pojavljuju zmije. Meštani ih nazivaju zmijama Presvete Bogorodice. Svakog dana se broj zmija povećava, a u oči Uspenije ih ima u čitavoj okolini. Tih dana žitelji Markopulo idu po dolini na čijoj se padini nalazi crkva i skupljaju zmije kako bi ih prineli Presvetoj Bogorodici. Odakle te zmije dolaze i gde nestaju posle praznika, to niko ne zna. To je za sve do današnjeg dana velika tajna. Za vreme svežečne službe zmije slobodno puze među ljudima, po stasidijama, analojama, ne plašeći se nikoga. Ako vam zmija uđe u pazuh, ne bojte se. Blagodaću Presvete Vladičice Bogorodice, zmije vam ništa neće uraditi. Uzmite ih u ruke i one će bukvalno lizati vaše palce. Zaista, za vreme službe se dešavaju neverovatne stvari. Zmije kao narukvice obavijaju ruke vernika, puze po ikoni Presvete Bogorodice i raspeću, po klepčićima spremljenim za litiju, a zmija može da dopuzi čak i na evanđelje koje čitaju na svetoj liturgiji. Zmije kao predstavnici životinjskog carstva praznuju zajedno sa hrišćanima, posećujući nas na rajski vrt u kome su prvostvoreni ljudi živjeli sa životinjama u jednoj porodici. Po završenom prazniku i zmije odlaze. Nemački naučnici su proučavali te zmije, ali nisu mogli da ih svrstaju ni u jednu od poznatih vrsta. One su sive boje i tanke, nisu duže 1 metra, a koža im je kao somet. Na glavama im je izobražen krst, kao i na vrhu jezika.
Pomiluj nas, Bože, po velikoj milosti svojoj, molimo ti se usliši, pomiluj. Kyrie eleison, Kyrie eleison, Kyrie eleison, Kyrie eleison, Kyrie eleison, Kyrie eleison. Prosto molimo za svu braću i za sve pravoslavne hrišćane. Kyrie eleison, Kyrie eleison, Kyrie eleison. Jesi milostivi, čovjeku ljubi Bog i tebi slavu uznosimo Otcu i Sinu i Svetome Duhu, sada i u vekove vekova. Amin. će prosvetati kao palma. I da se udostojimo slušanja svetog evanđelja, Gospoda Boga molimo. Gospodi pomiluj, Gospodi pomiluj, Gospodi pomiluj. Predmudrost, smerno stojmo, čujmo sveto evanđelje, mir svima. Čitanje svetog evanđelja od Mateja. Slava tebi, Gospodi, slava tebi. Pazimo. Reče Gospod svojim učenicima, eto ja vas šaljem kao ovce među vukove. Budite dakle mudri kao zmije i bezazleni kao golubovi. A čuvajte se od ljudi, jer će vas predati sudovima. I po sinagogama svojim tući će vas, i pred starješine i careve izvodit će vas mene radi, za svjedočanstvo njima i neznabošcima. A kada vas predadu, ne brinite se šta ćete kazati, jer nećete vi govoriti, nego Duh Oca vašega govorit će iz vas. A predaće brat brata na smrt i otac sina, i ustaće djeca na roditelje i pobiće ih, i svi će vas mrziti imena moga radi. Ali koji pretrpi do kraja, taj će se spasti. Slava tebi, Gospodi, slava tebi. Pomiluj nas, Bože, po velikoj milosti svojoj, molimo ti se usliši, pomiluj. Kyrie eleison, Kyrie eleison, Kyrie eleison.
Ako se neke godine zmije ne pojave, to je uvek loš predznak. Tako je bilo 1940. i 1953. godine, kada su na ostrvu bili jaki zemljotresi. Ali ipak, presveta Bogorodica i danas nas opominje kroz ovakve događaje i poziva na pokajanje zbog učinjenih prestupa, a ujedno i pokazuje svoju milost, čuvajući nas od svakog zla i svake neprilike.
Thank you. A few feet from here, past the stone fence, is the steeple of the old church. That's exactly where the snakes have appeared year after year. Sometimes there are more, sometimes fewer, but they keep showing up every year. People are very fond of them, and they've named them the Snakes of the Virgin, because they come out near this church, and they also have that sign of the cross on their heads. People pet them and find them totally harmless. It is very important, an important religious event, and also an important folkloric affair. Thanks to this, our village was put on the map, since this miracle is well known around Greece and to many places abroad where Orthodox faithful live. Every year we get thousands of visitors, true faithful. Some of them even sleep outside the church here in the courtyard, so they can be the first ones to pay their respects to the Virgin and also see this phenomenon.
The Virgin is worshipped around the world with many different nicknames according to miracles she has performed or the history of the area. This church here is dedicated to the Virgin Mary, or as the locals call her, Virgin of the Snakes. After a Vesper service on the 6th of August, celebrating the Transfiguration of Jesus, the congregants go outside the church and start looking for the snakes, this holy phenomenon. It's the middle of the night, since church lets out at around 10 p.m. Sometimes we search for the snakes till 2, 3 in the morning. We wonder who will find the snakes this year. Only the grace of the Virgin knows that. Whoever comes with faith and piety will find the snakes. Whoever finds them is guaranteed good fortune for himself and his family. It's a pure religious phenomenon with no fraudulence involved. After the snakes are found, they are escorted inside the church. It is a great joy to see the snakes on the icon, to take them on your own body. Nobody claims the snakes for their own benefit, but they belong to everybody, all the faithful who live here, and all those who come here to witness the miracle.
As could be expected, the snakes enjoy the protection of the locals and the pilgrims who see their presence as the best omen possible. A lot of cautionary tales are told for those who might want to harm the so-called holy snakes.
Once a sailor visited for a pilgrimage and stole one of the snakes to keep in his own ship. Soon afterwards, the snake died and a great misfortune fell on the sailor. His ship sank. When he returned to the island very contrite, he dedicated to the church a gold image of the snake. How do I explain it? The snakes belong to the Virgin. That's why we call her the Virgin of the Snakes.
Every year, since their first appearance in the middle of the liturgy, the snakes appear at the steeple of the church during the week-long celebration for the Virgin Mary, and then disappear on August 16th with the conclusion of the festivities. Only 2 times have the snakes not appeared on that particular day. Each time, the locals interpreted the event as a bad omen. Now, the first instance was in August of 1940. 2 months later, Greece was embroiled in the Second World War after an unprovoked attack by fascist Italy. Although the Greek army repelled the Italians, they could not resist the troops of Nazi Germany. The island of Kefalonija and all of Greece was occupied by the Nazi forces for the next 4 years, a grim period in the history of the land. The second disappearance of the snakes was recorded in August of 1953. A great earthquake shook the southeast Mediterranean. The epicenter was the island of Kefalonija, and the village of Marco Polo was hit especially hard, with many human casualties and destroyed buildings. The Church of the Virgin Mary was also damaged.
Είναι χαρακτηριστικό ότι δεν
It's
βγήκαν
quite telling that when the snakes didn't appear in 1953, we had the catastrophic earthquakes on the island of Kefalonija. Most of the towns and villages were destroyed.
επειδή ήταν ορεινό χωριό και τα
Our
σπίτια
own village, because it's a mountainous village and most homes are built really close to each other, suffered the most in all the island. We had, unfortunately, the biggest number of deaths here. The fact that the snakes did not appear that year was obviously seen as a bad omen.
οπωσδήποτε δεν ήταν καλός ιονός.
These events have reinforced the local belief that the snakes are messengers of good fortune for the island and its inhabitants, and that, conversely, their absence bears ill messages for the land.
Many scientists have visited and tried to explain the phenomenon of these snakes. They haven't offered any answers as to why these snakes appear in the church. And why do they appear only on those specific days? Why do they have the crosses on their heads and tongues? For me, the presence of the snakes in the church is a miracle of the Virgin Mary, which attracts all these thousands of people every year. They come from as far as the United States, Australia, and of course Greece. Anywhere where Orthodox Christians live, they have heard of this miracle.
Αυτά τα φίδια, και εγώ από μικρό παιδί από τη συγχωρεμένη τη μητέρα.
These snakes, I remember them from my mother who lived at a village nearby. I was a small kid, and I remember I'd come here with my cousin. We'd bring our flashlights and look for the snakes around the old steeple. We'd find the snakes and play with them. You know how kids are. But the snakes would not harm us. I also remember, way back before I was ordained to the priesthood, I would come every year to the feast with my friends. We'd take a snake from the church and start walking away towards the hills. The snake would turn its head to the church and would squirm trying to get away. We would then walk to the opposite direction towards the city, and the snake would turn its head to the direction of the church and tried to escape, to come back here. What does this mean?